Welcome back, and Red September is coming. Here's what to expect from Bitcoin and crypto. This, as we are now hearing, 92 crypto related ETFs are in the works, and the floodgates could open soon. We have a lot to discuss in today's video, and part of what we're going to be discussing is where we are in this cycle. This is an ongoing conversation we've been having on the channel. A lot of people, I don't know. A lot of people think we're really down here, that we haven't even started the bull market, and there's a lot of people who think we're up here as well. By the end of this video, you're going to have a better understanding of where we are in the cycle, and we're going to be starting right here with Red September. This is the Cryptoviser podcast. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. That way you never miss a new video. We upload every single day. Give the video a free thumbs up, because thumbs up are free. But crypto is not free. Never was free, and probably never will be. So give the video a thumbs up, which is free, and consider becoming a channel member. Click the join or subscribe plus button down below here on YouTube to learn more. Let's get into it. Now, I have been raising the alarms for months now that the top of the market has been hit. And a lot of people say, Cryptoviser, you're an idiot. Cryptoviser, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no way we hit the top of the market. But that's what people say when we're literally at the top, right? I'm a genius. We're all going to be rich. I'm going to buy more on margin. Got to tell everyone to buy. And that's exactly what we are seeing. But let's understand what Red September is all about. This phenomenon is known as Red September, or the September effect, and it's haunted markets for nearly a century. The S&P 500 has averaged negative returns in September since 1928, making it the index's only consistent negative month. Bitcoin's track record is even worse. The crypto's fallen an average of 3.7% each September since 2013, crashing 8 times, according to CoinGlass. Well. This is what I've been warning about for months on this channel, right? This pattern is predictable. Negative social sentiment chatter spikes around August 25th, followed by increased Bitcoin deposits to exchanges within 48 to 72 hours, according to a Swiss-based crypto liquidity provider, Finch Trade Consultant. He said Red September has gone from market anomaly to market psychology experiment. We're watching an entire market talk itself into a sell-off based on history rather than current fundamentals. Well, yes, it is based on the Bitcoin halving tracker, which you guys know is days since the Bitcoin halving. And we are now right here. This is day 500 since the Bitcoin halving. And you can see last cycle and the cycle before that, from the 500 to 550 day time frame, it marked the top of the market. And so I think that we're already at the top, if maybe just going to have a little bit higher based on volatility. But you can see time is running out. And there's a lot of people that don't think time is running out. I mean, we have this YouTuber, AJ Writes Crypto. He said, I can't believe we've come this far and people are saying the bull run is already over. Excuse me? We haven't even started yet. Well, we have started. We've been going on for 500 days now since the Bitcoin halving. I want you guys to think about that. Bitcoin has hit new all-time record highs multiple times over the past, couple of years. And we are in euphoria phase. The bull market, for anybody who's saying the bull market hasn't even started, must have missed the last year and a half of upward trending prices. I'm hearing a lot of what Cryptoviser last cycle, but in the previous cycle. And these people don't get it. They don't understand how markets work. It doesn't matter what happened in the last cycle. It doesn't matter what happened in the 15 previous cycles. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what's in front of us today. And this is why I always say, you trade the market in front of you, not the market you want. Because if you're trading the market you want, you are guaranteed to fail, because the markets don't, the market doesn't even know who you are. And the market participants don't even know who you are. And so this idea that, my cryptos didn't go up, so obviously the bull market hasn't started. It's like, no, it started and it's almost over. That's what Red September looks like. And so there's a lot at stake here, right? There's a lot of anticipation. Federal Reserve's going to cut rates. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, they could cut 0.25%. That's already priced in. And by the way, every single time the Federal Reserve has cut rates previously, at least the first major rate cut, the market has gone down in the short period right thereafter. And this is not even a guarantee that the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates or going to continue to cut rates. And then we have the ETFs, because a lot of people have been waiting for this and anticipating all these ETFs from Solana to XRP to Dogecoin. Oh, they're going to get approved. And I personally believe they will get approved. This year, 2025, we're going to have a massive flow of ETFs. But here's the deal, guys. Number one, any of these ETFs that are buying these cryptos, it's exit liquidity. As I've told you about Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's exit liquidity. And there's still a lot of people in this market that don't understand what exit liquidity is. Like if these companies or products are buying crypto, that means somebody's selling. And we've seen massive sell orders, 25,000 Bitcoin in a pop, 80,000 Bitcoin in a pop, hitting the market. And people are like, oh, you see, Michael Saylor bought it all up. Don't worry about it. It's like, whoa. You've been saying, and I mean the market, has been saying, oh, nobody's going to sell their Bitcoin. Oh, we're going much higher. We're going to hit $1 million this cycle. But meanwhile, we're having hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin unlocking and being sold to Wall Street. And there's people who are like, no, I'm going to wait for higher. It's like, who's buying higher? I'm not buying higher. You're not buying higher. Mary down the street is not buying higher. So who's buying higher? Oh, Michael Saylor's going to buy higher. Well, is he? And if he does, is that still bullish? No, it's the baseline now. And by the way, every single previous cycle in this time frame, right, the 18 months after the Bitcoin halving, every single time that they've launched these kind of products, whether it's an ETF or options or futures markets for crypto, that has marked the top of the cycle, period. We also have Samson Mao now accusing the market of using paper Bitcoin. Now, this is a very interesting topic because this is basically the same thing that FTX was doing in the previous cycle. If you guys don't understand what paper Bitcoin is, paper Bitcoin refers to synthetic or derivative forms of Bitcoin, aka not real Bitcoin, fake Bitcoin. It's like when you go to a casino, you give them your dollars and they give you a chip. The chip is just a piece of plastic, but it represents the dollar. But what happens if the casino goes bankrupt and they say you have a 1 month to claim your money for your chip, and you don't get there within the month, and then they shut down? That chip is worthless. It's paper money. So like futures contracts, ETFs, or exchange IOUs that aren't backed by actual Bitcoin. Critics like Samson Mao argue this creates artificial supply, potentially suppressing the price of Bitcoin's high demand from buyers like Saylor and spot ETFs. It's similar to paper gold in traditional markets. Let's listen to what Samson Mao said here. And by the way, don't forget to give this video an absolutely free thumbs up. Let's listen in.
In order for us to rip to 1M, do you have any estimates around that?
$1 million.
Hard to say. I think we should have been here already. So
Yeah.
I would have thought that the ETFs opening the floodgates combined with strategy would have gotten us there already. And this is why I'm one of the believers that there is paper Bitcoin out there dampening the market. So we'll see. But, nothing stops the train. It's going to go. The dollar is going to keep on inflating and Bitcoin is going to keep going up. It's just a question of when it all converges.
Now, generally speaking, I agree with what Samson Mao is saying here. I mean, I thought we were going to hit $1 million as well, especially with all the Bitcoin that MicroStrategy has been purchasing. But if you really look at how much they're purchasing, it's only 3% of the entire supply of Bitcoin, which a lot of people say is a lot. I mean, compared to what I own, compared to what you own, compared to what most people own, yeah, 3% of the entire supply is a huge amount. But I think that it's really important to take it into context, guys. They only have 3%, meaning 97% of the supply is out in the wild, and it is being sold, because for them to be buying, it's being sold, and we see the movement on chain of the selling. We also have to remember Binance and CZ, they're now clear to sell as much Bitcoin as they want, and they have been acquiring massive quantities of Bitcoin over the last couple of years. And one of the things that I thought about was, let's say CZ has $100 million worth of Bitcoin. He probably has more than that, but let's just say $100 million, okay? Let's say he sells at about $110,000, $120,000. And that pushes the price down 30%, okay? And then he buys back in 30% lower. So 30% lower than $100 million is $70 million. So that means that he just made a $30 million profit just by moving the market from his big sell order. Bought all his Bitcoin back, 30% lower, and made a $30 million profit. From Wall Street, by the way, because those are the people who are buying. So Wall Street effectively is selling CZ. And this is just an example. I'm not saying CZ is actually doing this, but if he was, $100 million, wait till it comes down 30%, then rebuy it all back. Boom, you just arbed Wall Street for $30 million in one trade. So there are a lot of big sellers that are selling. But there's also a lot of movement in the market that people are not taking into account. This user said the MicroStrategy $543 all-time high is an illusion, and everyone basing their mental models around it are not only doing themselves a disservice, but psyoping themselves out of what is very clear and obviously a consolidation period after a massive uptrend. And he's basically talking about the price movements of MicroStrategy, right? Now, we know MicroStrategy has leveled out, but a lot of the reason they've leveled out is because of the debt issuance, right? The products that they are selling. Now, they're selling shares on the open market, but they're also selling preferred shares through these Strike, Stretch, and Strife. But those preferred shares are better than the underlying shares. So if you have the preferred shares, that's better than holding MicroStrategy itself. And so we've seen people offloading the MicroStrategy, plus the idea that we are at the end of the bull cycle, regardless of what anybody thinks about we're not going to have a bear market again and all of this nonsense, which is totally not true. This could be consolidation, but it could also be every time the price goes over $400 over the past 6 or 7 months, MicroStrategy has sold into the market. And so they are artificially holding the price back as well. And now that we're at the end of the cycle and Bitcoin is starting to waver from 120, like people are buying at $120,000 Bitcoin and buying strategy at these prices. It's like they don't realize that if the price goes down 30% or 20% or 50%, the potential downside risk of strategy is significantly higher. Significantly higher. I've been saying this to my viewers for a while because right now the MNAV, which is how much they own versus how much crypto they own versus what their market cap is, it's like over 1.5 times. So if the Bitcoin price goes down, MicroStrategy can go down even further just based on that MNAV. So back to this post, he said $543 was the blow-off top amongst the most absurd call buying and euphoric market period coinciding with a convincing break of Bitcoin all-time highs in 2024. Every single catalyst and market-driven event lined up perfectly. The week of the blow-off top can be disregarded almost entirely because of these factors. The base of the move that preceded was around $340 price, which is effectively where we are when I'm recording this video. As you can see, over the last 9 months, we've been oscillating around this price point. While everyone stupidly wants to blame ATM, meaning selling shares on the open market, like lunatics, because they want to explain away their emotions, what their emotions can't handle, and forgot about the one thing all markets do after a massive euphoric run-up: consolidate. I would disagree with this. It's actually correct. Consolidate is just sideways trade. Correct is go down. We haven't had either because the only consolidation that we've seen here is MicroStrategy manipulating the price of the asset by selling or not selling? That's literally what's going on here. He said it's not outperforming Bitcoin over this period of time. Yeah, dude. Bitcoin is approximately 3% above the price point in November when the euphoric top occurred. Meanwhile, all the emotional speculators who thought it would be up and to the right forever have lost their minds. Sentiment is trash, yet if you look at the chart objectively, it's setting a base above the previous anchor point. It's healthy and necessary. While you all cry endlessly on the timeline and sell your shares of MicroStrategy stupidly, the market is easily absorbing it to better holders and longer-term thinkers, the smart people, not the opportunists relying on buying calls and running their hedge funds. I would completely disagree with this because here's the deal. The chart of MicroStrategy is full manipulation. This is not a valid market. A valid market is no manipulation, no stock buybacks, and no selling shares in the open market. No company intervention. And what have we seen with MicroStrategy? The only thing that they are doing is manipulating the price of their stock. When they sell shares on the open market, when the price is going up, they keep the share price the same. But they're saying that they're putting more Bitcoin per share. At the same time, they're selling these preferred shares, where if the company were to go into liquidation or bankruptcy, those people with the preferred shares would get the Bitcoin before MicroStrategy shareholders, which would be last in line to get the Bitcoin, aka they ain't getting shit. And so the actual fundamental value of MicroStrategy now in a liquidation is zero, where these preferred shares is all the Bitcoin. And so these preferred shares are what actually should be getting purchased, not MicroStrategy. And so we've seen in the price, this is not consolidation. If MicroStrategy was not in the market themselves, I would say, yeah, this looks like consolidation. But this is why I say chartists are not very accurate, because all they do is look at the chart for the signal. But you also have to look and understand what the signal, like why is the signal that? This looks like consolidation, but we also have MicroStrategy literally in the market in multiple places, manipulating the price of the asset, whether directly or indirectly, they're doing it. And so this is not consolidation. In my view, this is manipulation and very risky looking chart. But again, the MicroStrategy bulls, they don't see this. He's saying it's healthy and necessary. It's not healthy and necessary. I've never seen any company in my research that manipulates the market as much as MicroStrategy is doing. And again, it may not be direct, but if I know that a preferred share is actually what you should be holding versus MicroStrategy share, which has no priority on the underlying Bitcoin in the event of a liquidation, why would I hold that stock? And by the way, we also see insiders of MicroStrategy selling their MicroStrategy shares and buying these preferred shares. So the insiders are also in the market. That's not a healthy market. In fact, it's extremely unhealthy. He says the biggest mistake anyone has done when it comes to Bitcoin over the years is to emotionally dump their Bitcoin when it hurts the most. And it's no different for companies capitalizing their balance sheets on Bitcoin. There's no pain in the chart below, only high time preference crybabies trying to trade and realizing they suck at it. This chart is one you'll look back on and hate yourself when you knew how simple and straightforward it was. But you let your emotions win. You had bad actors in the space trying to toil with your emotions. Be better and ignore them. Higher. Now, guys, there is a possibility that this chart of MicroStrategy is showing us sideways trading. But again, they keep selling shares on the open market. Their insiders are buying the preferred shares and dumping MicroStrategy. And so this idea that the MicroStrategy holders have figured out, the ultimate Valhalla trade is completely ridiculous, because again, if the company gets liquidated or goes below the $73,000 price, which I don't think is going to occur, but it could, it definitely could, These preferred shares get the Bitcoin before you, so effectively the MicroStrategy share is not worth anything in the event of a liquidation. And either way, why would you pay $1.60 for $1 worth of Bitcoin when you could just get $1 worth of Bitcoin for $1 worth of Bitcoin in the Bitcoin ETFs or Bitcoin directly or Bitcoin in an IRA? This is the part of the cycle, in my view, where everybody is just getting euphoric. And in my view, the market has already started to turn. We are in the complacency phase, in my view. And once you pass the euphoria phase, which most people don't think that we're in because they didn't personally feel euphoric, but that's not how the market operates. The euphoria is everything that we're seeing occurring in the market, like this. Grant Cardone, a well-known investor in real estate. He made a lot of money in real estate, and I think he created a company and then sold it. But either way, he now is announcing he's selling his $43 million oceanfront Miami home for 400 Bitcoin. Real estate demonetizing, it's happening. What's happening, guys? This guy still owns a lot of real estate. He's selling a multi-million-dollar mansion, okay? This is the mansion, $42 million. We're going to look at it in just a second, to buy Bitcoin. This is not demonetizing in real estate. This is getting rid of a mansion that probably costs, something maybe upwards of $1 million a year to run. Between the property taxes in Florida are extremely high, especially for beachfront properties. Then you have all of the upkeep on a waterfront property, which there's a lot of upkeep because the salt water erodes everything. And then you have the maintenance on the home, utilities. I mean, imagine how much it costs to just keep the air conditioner running in a mansion this large. And so this is not like people demonetize. There is a demonetization occurring in real estate because, again, why would I want to own real estate, which very high overhead, we just covered maybe $1 million a year. I mean, even smaller homes, $400,000 home, you still have expenses, you still have property taxes, you still have utilities, you still have maintenance and upkeep and all of that. Bitcoin, there's nothing. There's no overhead there. So the idea here is getting the Bitcoin for what it's worth. And MicroStrategy and the MicroStrategy bulls don't seem to understand how the MNAV is going to compress. In the previous cycle in 2020 and 2021, I told you guys, we were playing the MNAV on Grayscale. We made a lot of money on that. A lot of money. Because when it was over the MNAV, like in a higher MNAV, we were selling. When it was a lower MNAV, we were buying. And it was fluctuating. MicroStrategy is not fluctuating yet, but it will. It will. And again, when the Bitcoin price starts dropping, this price can drop even harder and further because of the MNAV compression that's going to occur. But again, where are we at this point in the cycle? We don't hear this in the bear market. Think about it, right? In the bear market, homes were still, the crypto bear market, let me rephrase. In the crypto bear market, homes were still selling for very high amounts in 2022 and 2023 and even last year in 2024. But he's choosing to sell at the peak of the market at all-time record highs in Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin at all-time record high and offload the property. But the other thing that a lot of people are not realizing is that the real estate industry, there's a lot more homes going on the market. There's a lot more inventory, and prices are starting to come down, not significantly. But again, we have to think about like all of the boomers that are selling their homes. There's more boomers than there are millennials. It's just a numbers game, right? And so if all the boomers are selling their homes to less number of millennials and the younger generations, there's going to be more supply. And so the idea that these homes are not going to come down in price, I mean, come on. But either way, this is a really nice house. I would not compare your portfolio and say, well, he's buying Bitcoin. He's selling his $42 million home to buy Bitcoin. Yeah, but guys, this is a $42 million home. You're not dealing with a $42 million home. So don't compare yourself to that. But I mean, this is potentially a really good trade because if you think about it, if he sells it at 42 million, and let's say Bitcoin goes down 50%, goes from about 110,000 to about $55,000 in the bear market. I mean, it could go lower than that, but let's just say half. That means that this would be $21 million. Now, in the next cycle, if we go up to $500,000 or even just 5x from $250,000, that would mean that $21 million in Bitcoin would turn into $100 million in Bitcoin. So even though he's selling it for 42 million now, in the next cycle, if he buys the Bitcoin at the this time or around this time and holds it into the next bull market, there's a potential he's going to actually get more than double this in total Bitcoin value and not have any of the overhead and expenses that he would have had by holding the home. But let's just see how quickly he's able to sell this home, because guys, a lot of mansions are sitting on the market. Because again, the younger generation, especially the younger generation with money, they don't want these homes. They don't want the overhead. And that's part of the issue as well. Meanwhile, this is from 2021. This was a Michael Saylor tweet, right? Literally at the top of the market in 2021, 4 years ago, okay? The top of the market was, well, basically the market peaked after Federal Reserve Chairman Powell in 2021, he said that they were going to raise rates in the market, and then that effectively was the top of the market. When that occurred, guys, that was November 4th, I think it was, something like that. And you can see here that he posted just a few weeks before that, when large US banks are able to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets, everyone will want to buy it. No one will need to sell it, and you won't be able to afford it. Well, guys, that day has come. Banks are holding it on their balance sheet. Banks are allowing you to hold it on your balance sheet. Banks are allowing you to hold crypto in your investment and retirement funds. It's happening. Not everybody wants to buy it. People are selling it. And whether you can afford it or not, that's still questionable, because you could still buy portions of it. So this all is occurring 4 years later, and it hasn't really made a material difference in the actual price of Bitcoin. There's still people at this point in the cycle that think that we're going to $1 million in this cycle. This is the bull trap. I have been laying this out for you in August and September of 2025. I've been laying out for you that the Federal Reserve is setting the bull trap. And the bulls are like, Cryptoviser, you're just a bear. You are so negative in the market. I'm like, and that response is literally you in the bull trap and not even realizing it. You're in the trap. And the more bullish you get, and we are going to have bid ups. Every time we have a dip lower, we're going to have these bulls bidding the market back up. But the same people who were selling up here just a few weeks ago, 80,000 Bitcoin moving from legacy wallets, then 25,000 Bitcoin moving from Satoshi era wallets, then another 25,000 in Bitcoin moving from Satoshi era wallets. And the bulls were like, no problem. Michael Saylor will buy all that Bitcoin. Well, he didn't. And so the market fell, and these bulls who are buying back into the market to push the price back up, they are literally providing the exit liquidity to the bears, or these early investors who are now selling again. A lot of people forget about Binance, forget about CZ. These guys were the market makers in the previous few cycles, and they have a lot of money. They have a lot of reserves. And if you think that Wall Street saying we're going to buy Bitcoin at whatever price it is, if you think that Binance and CZ are not taking the money from Wall Street, you are out of your mind. They are absolutely taking the money from Wall Street, as they should. And you know why? Because that is exit liquidity. And so if you think about it, right, let's just say, and I'm just using CZ as an example because we know he's a whale, right? Whether he's selling or not, I don't know, and I'm not trying to speculate, but there's clearly whales in the market that are selling their crypto, regardless of what these bulls are saying, regardless of what you think is going on in the market. They are clearly selling, because if nobody was selling, Michael Saylor wouldn't be able to buy, and the price would be at $1 million. So let's just say a big whale, maybe CZ, has $100 million in Bitcoin. Now, in the relative, Bitcoin market, this is really a small number, but let's just say $100 million. Let's say he sells at $110,000 or $120,000. Okay, now he has $100 million in cash that basically Wall Street just handed to them, whoever it was, whatever whale. Now, let's say Bitcoin goes down 30%, which again is the base case. because we are going to go to this $70,000 level that MicroStrategy's buy price is at. 100% we're going to test this level, like without any shadow of a doubt. It is going to hit. And so that's about a 30, maybe even more % drop from where we are when I'm recording this video. But we'll just use 30% because it's even. Now, let's say this whale that sold $100 million in Bitcoin now has a 30% drop in the price of Bitcoin, and they buy all the Bitcoin back now for $70 million. Well, 70 million minus 100 million is $30 million. So that means that these whales just arb traded $30 million in profit just from selling high and buying back low. But the MicroStrategy bulls, they're like, no, never sell your Bitcoin. Michael Saylor said, never sell your Bitcoin, so I can never sell my Bitcoin. It's like, well, you don't even own Bitcoin. You own MicroStrategy, which is not even Bitcoin, because if MicroStrategy gets liquidated, Strife is first in line, then Stretch, then Strike, then Stride, and then you come in play, and there's going to be no Bitcoin left for you. But you continue to be bullish on this company that's clearly overvalued, has a very high MNAV multiple, and literally nobody is buying besides you. Even the insiders are selling MicroStrategy and buying the debt preferred stocks. But Cryptoviser, you're just a bear. You're just a bear. It's like, well, then you go buy this $42 million home with Bitcoin. Oh, you don't have $42 million. Oh, it's all in MicroStrategy. Oh, the price of MicroStrategy is going to keep going down. Oh, you're going to lose all your money. Oh, we tried to tell you literally all year. I've been telling my viewers, make sure you take profits. Make sure you take profits. Don't get caught up in the bull run. And sure enough, a lot of people listened. A lot of people listened, and they're not getting caught up in the bull run. And they have a strategy, they have a thesis, and they have a plan, and they're executing their investment strategy. But there is a lot of people that are caught up in the euphoria of the cycle. Meanwhile, we don't see this either in bear markets. This is rapper Big Sean. Basically, at the end of his concert, quote unquote, passing out crypto knowledge. Let's listen to what happens here at his concert.
It is one time that I'm gonna say this. This is not, you're not too late. Invest in crypto right now. Tonight if you can. Like, do that shit tonight. You're gonna get a return from it. You know, Bitcoin is a good one, Ethereum. What's the other one you said? Ripple. Invest in that shit. I'm telling y'all right now, this is a quick flip. Do it tonight. It's about to go up. You know, I think it's about to go up. It's not like I got no insider information. I think it's about to go up. But look.
Okay, so I want you guys, again, where are we in the cycle? Obviously, the XRP community loves this. But guys, he literally was like, wait, what was the other one you wanted me to say? He doesn't even know what cryptos to talk about, but yet he's telling his audience, buy it today, buy it tonight. Stop the concert, go buy crypto. Guys, this is euphoria. This is the top of the market. This is where we are in the cycle. This doesn't happen in the bear markets. It does not happen in sideways trading markets. This happens at the top, period. Well, I just saw this. Matt Rife, who's a well-known stand-up comedian, he posted on X, just got my first dog. And he's talking about a doganal NFT where he bought for 77,777 Dogecoin for about $17,000. Like, what even is that? What is that? Is that a gopher? Is that a seal? What in the heck? They're saying that's a dog. That does not look like a dog. But anyway, this is another thing, right? In the last cycle, people were buying JPEGs of monkeys, okay, for millions and millions of dollars. And still today, against all the odds, because the NFT community said, oh, these will recover their all-time highs. Well, they haven't, and they're not going to. But when I thought this was I thought this was a fake account, but no, it's actually Matt Rife's account. So now we have a comedian paying $17,000 for a profile picture of a pixelated dog. This is where we are at in the cycle. And the people who think that this is the most bullish thing in the world, I got news for you guys. These are top indicators, 100% top indicators. Okay, so we have to understand where we are in the cycle. The other thing that people are not taking into account is the potential for a government shutdown. Now, Kalshi odds are predicting the US government shutdown at 44%. Now, the Congress is coming back at the beginning of September. Then they're going to be kind of coming up with a budget, right, to basically print money. Everybody's anticipating the Federal Reserve cutting rates, but cutting rates doesn't pump the markets. Cutting rates just makes borrowing money easier. That's not what's going to push the markets higher. What's going to push the markets higher is money printing, and this comes in with the budget. Whatever the government is, whatever Congress passes is the budget. This is where the money gets printed. And so, in my view, the odds of a government shutdown or no budget resolution are very high because next year in 2026, we have midterm elections. We have the Federal Reserve chairman ending his term as the chairman, and we're going to get a new head of the Federal Reserve. So there's a lot of things leading up to this, and we may see Congress do what's called a continuing resolution, where they just basically kick the can down the road for another time, probably later in this year or next year. We may get a government shutdown. We may get money printing. It really depends on what happens in the market. But again, the market is going to dictate this. And so if there are odds of a government shutdown or no money printing or no resolution to the budget, well, this could tank the markets significantly, even crypto. And so everything is lining up for that to occur. Everything is lining up for the market to correct. We have had basically no corrections since 2023 in the Bitcoin market. And the bulls who think that we're not going to have one are in for quite the surprise, at least in my view. We are in the critical period in time, days after the halving, where we are now within 50 days, right, within 2 months of the historically, the last two cycles peaked. And we may already be there right now. And if not, well, the move to the upside is going to be so rapid and so quick that the sell orders, as soon as they're triggered, right, guess what? The market's over. The cycle's over. And again, this goes back into this original post that I showed you. The $543 all-time record high in MicroStrategy is an illusion. It just happened for like 1 or 2 days. We didn't stay at 500 forever. We stayed there for a very short period of time. And then effectively, the market corrected the price to where it should be. And not only did the market do that, MicroStrategy did. They are suppressing the stock price of their own stock by selling shares continually on the open market. And that can only continue for as long as it can continue. How long is it going to continue? I don't know. But if the price of Bitcoin goes down, the idea that the MicroStrategy price is going to continue to go up and continue to increase the MNAV versus compress the MNAV is complete and utter nonsense. And so in my view, Red September is going to be a real thing. Whether it's going to continue and extend after September, I don't know. We have to really wait to see what the Federal Reserve does, what the forward-looking guidance is from the Federal Reserve, what the general economic conditions with tariffs and all of that are, what Congress does from a standpoint of government shutdown. But this idea that we're going to go up forever, up to the right forever, is ridiculous. And even if we do go up into the right forever, the fact that MicroStrategy still has this high MNAV, continues to sell shares in the open market, insiders are selling shares to then go buy these preferred shares to then go buy more Bitcoin, not looking good, guys, because once the liquidity dries up, it's dried up. So with that, let me know what you guys think about today's video, about everything we discussed. Don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. That way you never miss a new video. And let me know where you think we are in the cycle. Is this a bull trap? Is September, October, November, December going to look mostly bearish or mostly bullish? And if we are past the euphoria stage, how fast until we reach the bottom of the market. I'll see you guys in the next video. Invest responsibly, do your own research, and as always, crypto on.